Okay, so right click the shared folder. You probably don't have that folder. Shared card, right? So you hover over shared. That's the shared folder. Okay, so right click, new folder, and then type button. And that way it'll break out those two separate folders. Get it? You did you right click on shared? And did you say new folder? Then it should allow you to start typing button. Right part. Oh. You named folder shared card. So, Waylon, I want you to rename your shared card folder to shared. All right. Now, I want you to right click on that shared folder and say new folder again. On the shared folder, yeah, right click on it and say card. That way you have another folder inside as the card. Okay. Now, I want you to click and drag all of your card component stuff and drag it under the card folder. Drag it into the card folder. Okay? Got it? Click and drag. Don't know how to drag? Got it? Okay. Now, we are going to right click the button folder and say new file, button.component.ts. I don't know if I want to wait until Andy comes back. So all of the stuff that we've done should not have changed your application output. It should still compile. So if I just stop the application and do an npm start again, it should start fine. If you do not have this show up, localhost 4000, 42,100, sorry, let me know and we can try to debug that. Because right now we haven't started using this component at all. Andy, you good? Okay. We'll just keep going and he'll have to catch up. So inside our button component, we're going to start writing the component at component. So I just started typing a little bit. It should prompt me to import from Angular. So we're gonna hit enter. Andy, come here quickly, and we'll get you caught up. So new file, call it button.component.ts. In the component file, in the TS file, I'll try to call it what these files are by the extension. So this last part is the extension, the file extension. And this one has a .html file extension. This one has a .sess. So that's what that means. Here, you got here?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so we're gonna type the round brackets and the curly brackets. So round on the outside, curly on the inside, and then we're going to do a selector. I believe these all have to say app dash, otherwise it will complain. And stand alone is true. Export class component. And what is it? Missing a template. Okay. So if we wanted to keep everything in one file, we could just say template like this.
Component is missing a template.
Yeah. Yes, you do. ng content. G content. So if you remember back when we did Svelte, we would have a slot for things that we want to inject, for template that we want to inject into a component. With Angular, it's ng content. Okay. So let's just see how this works. This is the very basic setup for a component. This is all set up to be, it's all ready to be used. So if we go back to our app component.html, we can start saying app-button hello. Now it's going to complain because we haven't imported it. You're still missing this? So this is a backtick. This is the character right next to your 1. Yeah, you need a backtick for this character.
Backticking.
And that's the key right above your tab. Okay. Okay. So that's another new thing that you've learned today. So again, let's go back to our app component and let's start using the component. But because these are standalone components, we need to actually import it in the app component imports. This is one of the things that is still a little bit cumbersome about Angular, is the standalone syntax. You have to import all of the components you use like this, and it's kind of, it doesn't look nice. In the app component HTML, I added this. So after adding this, it's going to complain. And then you have to go into your app component.ts to add this. Okay, so now if we go back to our web page, yeah, okay, so we have this hello button. Are you explaining this to Waylon?
It's. I mean, error.
Hover.
Hover over the component, the error.
Before.
All right. So let's go back to your component code. Do you have this set up in your component code?
No.
You have standalone? Back to Dash. Okay. Kelly, you're all good?
Do we have 2 errors in
Yes.
component?
App component.spec.ts? Yes. This is the test file. Now, you could just remove the NX welcome.
Title does not exist in app component.
Title? Yeah. Do you have... If you want, you can just... what did I name it? I left it as title.
Where?
If you... Okay, go to your app component. Yeah. So what does your blah 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 equals father's message? Okay, so I'm going to change it to message as well. Okay. So now message is message. And if I go here, if you want to change your line 24, I believe, wherever you're having that error, just change it from title to message. Yeah, this is a test. Yeah, you can remove that line and then remove the NX welcome component. This is a test file.
So they get.
Remove it, yes. We removed that last time, right? Okay. So let's move forward. I will teach you about testing sometime later, but today probably not. So let's go back to our app component. And I think if do you guys have the Angular language service installed? I believe I asked you guys to install that last time, right?
Angular language servers? I'm pretty sure we do it.
Yeah, so if you
Yeah, we have it.
if you control or command hover over the button, it should underline it. Whatever
Yeah.
whatever component that we just wrote.
Does it?
All of them should have this underline if you hover over it, okay? So this is so that you can easily navigate to these components. So if I click it, control or command click, it will go to the component, okay? So if I am navigating around and you don't understand how I'm doing it, it's me doing a command or control click, okay? So
Let's open.
anyway, so this component, we want it to be reused, right? So we want to emit click equals output. Okay, so
Now if I
when
up-
this, you need to import it.
What?
So after you type output, hit enter before you type the round brackets.
There we go.
Inside our template, we're going to do a click dot emit
So that's what you want.
Actually, this is like the first time I'm doing this as well. I haven't used a new syntax for outputs. It used to be different, but Angular 18 has upgraded, so we're doing things a little differently, but hopefully it should work.
It does not exist.
Click dot emit. Make sure you have typed.
S.
Oh, don't typo things and don't add things. The Angular language service is pretty smart, right? So when I do a dot, it gives me these purple cubes. These are the functions that are available. So I just navigated down using the arrow keys and then hit enter. Okay. And I can tell that these are functions because they are those purple cubes. If they are properties, like just a variable, you don't call a variable, right? This is calling a function. We don't call variables. So if it was a blue cube, I would not call it. So the purple cubes are the functions, and we are able to call it. So I want to also add Tailwind classes to this. We have Tailwind configured, right? Yes. So let's add a class equals,
Rylan, focus.
whoops, sorry, not in this. Class equals button and button dash primary. I don't think this is gonna work though, because we don't look at the TS files using Tailwind. Let's just see. Yeah, it doesn't work. So I do want to move this out into a separate file. So we are going to right click the button folder and we're going to create a button.component.html. Yep. And I'm going to cut this code
Rylan, focus.
and put it in the HTML file. Oops.
Focus.
Make a whole new file.
Create a new file and put that code where the HTML file is.
It's just the
So now we need to change this property to template URL.
so just the stuff.
Just the button, yes. So whatever was in that backtick, we're just cutting it, and now it should just be backtick in this file. Now I could convert these back to just regular quotes, and then we're gonna say button.component.html. Okay. So the dot
Pale.
the dot here references the current folder. Okay.
How?
What's going on?
Chosen path.
But why? Oh, because you haven't typed. Just remove all this. All of it. Get the stuff. Waylon, pay attention. Go to the button that get stuff that's in. Six. Got it.
You put that in. And then in the pattern.
Yeah, you could change it to quotes. You don't have to. I just want to have everything consistent.
Mine's go back.
You can convert it if you want to. You don't have to. It still works. And you, Waylon, you had an S in your component for some reason, so you need to type an S here. Okay? If you want to, you can rename these to be without the S, because this is a singular component. Okay? I'll let you do that, but if I save everything now and go back to the website, I should start seeing the primary styles from Tailwind. Okay. Well, looks like it's not getting the style. That's nice. Alright, we'll figure that out, I guess. Why is it background BG slate color?
I don't have an image yet.
What is the E? No.
You can add sound.
Let's not add sound effects right now. You keep trying to put me off course. If you want to do something different, go learn it on your own. That's your challenge. You have a lot of time. Instead of playing games all the time, go learn it on yourself. Okay? So, let's take a look at what the Tailwind configuration is. It should take all of the HTML files, yeah. What's going on? In the source folder, so it should detect. You know what? Let's come back to this. I want to see if our click event is working. So we have a click.emit. So in our app component, let's go to our app component.html. And then we should be able to listen to click. So after I type the round brackets, it already understands that there is one event from this component, and that is the click event. I'm just going to click, hit enter. And what function do we want to run when this event occurs? We don't actually have a function in the app component yet, so let's just handle. Yeah. So usually we have these handler functions. What do you want to do? Well, let's just flip the message. Let's show message equals false. Show message equals true. Oh, I can't do that, I have to say this dot. Remember that this is a way of referencing something that is part of this class, okay? This references this class. If you have the show message outside, I think I've already demonstrated this last time, so. So, let's put this message under a flag. So we have message. Oh, I'm just gonna comment out one of these. Actually, no, let's comment out that guy. And in Angular, the if condition is this: if show message.
Wait, what?
It's a at if.
If
Nice.
and curly braces.
And the curly braces?
And curly.
Let me see. Oh, cool.
Secret life.
Nice. I will remember that.
Like
Because I usually start typing everything inside, so. And then I have to manually type this. Like a noob. Alright, so. If I save this, it should not show our card immediately until we've pressed. Oh, hey, I got the styles now. What happened? Okay, I want to make that a toggle though.
The button says hello.
The button says hello, yes. Whoops.
I'm gonna close it. The button.
I wonder why it showed up late. Oh, let me remove this slate. And why is it not getting all the other styles? Order? Order.
Button.
It also should have some default styles for padding and stuff. I wonder why it's not getting those. Yeah, it's just... Okay. That's really weird. I think it's because we don't have, what's it called? Daisy UI installed as well. The other plugin. You don't have to. Tailwind should provide some default styles, I thought. I'll have to look that up. But yeah, so... well, that works. And this event emitter also works, so that's nice. The bad thing is we would have to emit a bunch of things.
Yeah, bunch of what?
Mouse over, mouse leave, like all this stuff is something that you should expose to your users if they want to listen for these events.
Mouse.
So
If mouse down, you could do.
Yeah, that's right.
let's just do a mouse over and mouse out. Mouse over dot emit. Mouse out. Mouse out dot emit. And if I format, oh, okay, so if you guys didn't see what I did there, I did a document format,
Yeah, I know.
and if it asks you which formatter to use, choose prettier. believe that should be part of your, yeah. I wonder why I didn't catch that already. Oh, okay. So there's no configuration for it. Stop making random noises, man. Holy shit.
Every time I save it, all
Format?
pretty, yeah.
Okay, that's good. What we can do is we can actually tell Prettier how wide our screen is, or how wide you want the text to be. So if you want like a maximum of, I don't know where this is. This is already 50 characters. So maybe 100. And then it'll wrap. So let's make it 100. It gave me a default of 80 if I type this out. So you can go here and configure this however you want. But let's try to keep it the same so that it'll format our code the same. If you do Control or Command P, it will open this file search and you can just type pretty. Prettier.rc. And then we're adding this print width configuration. Remember to add the comma above it. You want a comma and then this print width 100. Okay? Okay. So back in our HTML file, the button HTML, these things haven't been created yet. So we're gonna go to the button.ts and we're going to do the same thing. Mouse over equals output. Mouse out equals output. So what do we want the, I guess it doesn't have to do anything here. It just lets the consumer know that those events have happened. So if I go to our button, the app HTML, I can now listen to those events, right? Mouse over equals spy, I guess.
Back to
It's the same thing as the other.
I'm done. No, I had to make sure.
Andy, stop. Okay, so in our app component TS, we're going to write that spy function, which is going to console log. ICU. I want to save everything. Save all the files. So now if I go to the component and inspect go to the console, right click on the page, inspect, and go to the console. Now if I hover over it, wow, why is it console logging twice? Interesting. Why is it doing that? Oh, that's really funky. Well, like I said, this is the first time I'm using this stuff as well. And I wonder why it's doing that. We only have one mouse over. Interesting. To which file? This one?
Mouse over there?
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that I need to find out, huh? Find out to do. Why emits. This emits twice? Huh? Okay. So this was from the last week.
Why? So
This was from last week.
why?
We're going to start using routes.
Same thing.
Yes.
Right now we have a shared folder, right? I want to create a new folder. Not in shared, in app. So right click app, new folder, routes. It doesn't have to say routes. It could say pages or
Routes.
whatever else. But
Could be anything.
I would like you to make it the same so that when you type, when I move on from this section and you forget that you named it something else, and then you complain, oh, it's not working. So keep it the same as me, but just note that this can be anything else. And I want you to play around with this stuff when we leave later. Make some of your own routes, and yeah, just do some practice, right? So inside here, I'm gonna create another folder called about.
About?
Yep. And Waylon, it is not routes about, it is routes and then about. Okay?
But is it?
Right click, folder, and then create a new folder in about. You could also create another here called home.
Is we're making them?
Yes. So I'm creating two routes. I want to create two routes. One for a home and one for about. What about it? So again, let's create those component files. Whoops, sorry. About.component.ts. You created it wrong. You have to right click the deepest one. I think your home folder needs to be deleted. You need to right click on routes to create it. Waylon, are you caught up? You have these component files. But since we know we're going to split out the HTML files, I want you to copy and paste this and then just rename this to .html.
Going into routes.
What do you mean?
Don't separate.
Right click on routes and then new folder.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, that's fine. Home. Enter. There. Just need to keep going.
No. It was right clicking.
Okay. Okay. Dude, you need to listen. I say right click routes and you right click about. I know they sound almost the same, but they are not the same. All right. So let's keep going. Create these 4 files and then we're gonna set up some routes, okay? These are not set up yet. These are just
About.
component selector app about standalone true template URL. Oh, whoops. If I save, it's not using Prettier. I need to install. Template URL is home.component.html. And then we have to do an export class home component. Whoops, this is the home component that I'm in. Yep. Now, I guess we could just copy all of this stuff and put it in the other component, and then we just rename. Okay. All right.
I basically did everything for me.
Now I should have two components. One is for about, and one is for home. I want you to go to the HTML file. So one of the neat tricks is this is also a navigator. If I click this, what's called a breadcrumb, it will open the files next to it. You can also click home and it'll go open those routes, right? So this is another way of navigating, and it will understand like, hey, there's only one file next to this. I want to open that one. Same thing for about. I want to open that one.
What?
Do you see the navigator up on the top? You don't? You don't see it.
This is
Whatever. You probably configured your workspace to do something different. Let me see. If I full screen this, I should still see it. Don't worry about it. You can just navigate and open those manually like you always do. So I can't help you right now. I want you to do the work. You can, I'll help you figure out why that's not showing up later.
I'm gonna split the screen.
You don't have to split the screen either.
what is it about?
So go to your home component and just say home component inside. And your about component inside.
I copy.
Actually, let's leave it like that for now.
How did I copy a file?
I want to just set up the routing for now. And the home component as well. Andy, are you done? Kelly, you're good?
I finished that, but a lot of the things on my code is red.
What are you seeing that's red? Andy, stop making noise.
For all of my TS files, they're code below components are all red.
And when you hover over it, what does it say?
It say component is missing a template.
Okay, so do you have this template URL?
Yes.
And it's still complaining? Make sure
I can
make sure the U here is capitalized.
Okay. I think that solved the problem. But
Okay.
for my button component.ts, the output is still red.
Button component.ts. Okay, so the output being red could be that it's not imported. So I want you to erase a T and then type it again, and it should ask you to import it. Otherwise, you can go to the first line where we have the Angular core, and then just add it in the where the component is.
Okay. And for the app.component.spec.ts,
Oh, we'll ignore that for now. But I have the recording of this video, so I guess I'll post it later. I need Aaron to catch up on this anyway. So if you want to review the recording, we went through it with Andy, but basically we're just removing the NX component and updating the app.title to app.message. So if you want to try that real quick.
thank you.
Okay. So everything is green or yellow. Oh, by the way, if you have Git initialized, you should see these as new files and these as changed files. So modified and I don't know what U is. Oh, untracked. Okay, so let us add those new routes to our routing configuration. So this is the file that I haven't touched yet. Go into app.routes.ts. It should be right below your app component. And we're going to add a curly brace and say path and we're going to do home component is home. So after I typed home, I just hit enter because it showed me that there was a component available. I'm going to add another one called path about component about, and then just hit enter. And we'll save this. And when we go back to the app, you should see that this is already rendered out onto the page. Okay. So our home component, because it is the empty route, it gets rendered out right away. You don't? So does your home component HTML? So I'm gonna control and command click this guy. I believe I can also command click this. Do you have home component in the HTML? Andy? What do you have in the HTML?
Nothing.
Yeah. So you have to put something there for it to show up. What do you have in your route? Did you save? Sometimes you forget to save. Import. You didn't listen to what I was saying either. So when I typed this, I just typed home, and then it showed me the autocomplete. I just hit enter. Autocomplete will also auto import. Okay? It doesn't show you. Right? Right? Actually, if you want to, you can try restarting the language service. So command for you, Command Shift P, and then type restart. Restart TypeScript server. And then start typing the component
Oh,
again.
it shows up now.
Cool. Yeah, I think your computer is just getting a little too old.
It's supposed to be
The C, yeah. But
No.
Never mind, I didn't show
and
anymore.
like the home and
home and about.
Yeah.
It depends on how you named the component class, right? So if I command click this guy or just hover over it, you can see that my export class is home with a capital H and component with a capital C. Did you name it that way? This is title case. Title case is where all of the words are capitalized.
I didn't have it.
Hopefully you do the same thing as me, but it shouldn't matter too much. It's fine. As long as it works, it's fine.
It works.
But if you want to, you can do a rename. Okay? So double click the, I don't think you have to double click. Just click the word and then do a function, F2. And then you can change the case of this, right?
Bad.
Function.
But where was able to for import, it disappeared. It doesn't show up anymore.
I can't help that right now. So just go ahead and type this out manually. I want to move forward. We have 5 minutes. I want to get this working. Let's create a nav component inside our shared folder.
How did we have that?
Well, hopefully it stays working. So let's keep moving. It's good that it is working for some things, okay? So let's keep moving. Right click shared. We're gonna create a nav component.
Sure.
nav.component.ts. Copy and paste this file.
Is it like a file or a folder?
Create a folder first for nav, and then inside nav, we're gonna create the nav component.
Yeah.
Yes. So HTML and TS, just like always. Inside the TS file, we're going to do an at component.
How is it?
Andy, we've been doing the same thing for the last hour. Right click shared, new folder. Waylon, what's your problem? So just copy and paste this line. Just copy and paste that line. And then just change about to home. And then change the import from home, about to home. Does that work?
No.
Let me see.
When I go to component.ts, we might have the same issue. Extra class dot component.
Oh. About. That's why it was not working. This is still about component. So that is probably something we should avoid doing in the future. When we copy one component to another, you need to remember to rename this class. If you still have this as home, well, it's gonna be confused. Home, I mean, this home component might be detected first and it'll import this one. But then when you try to import about, well, there's no about component. It's still a home component here. So that's why it was confused. If there's two components with the same name, it's gonna get real confused. All right, so that was the issue. Come back to our nav component. I hope you have caught up.
Yes.
We're going to do a selector, and we're gonna call this nav. Actually, no, it has to be app
I
nav.
don't have nav.
You need to create it then.
Do what?
Under shared. Yep, new folder, and then new files inside the new folder. Class nav component. And we want to have standalone true and the template URL. Okay, so we're just doing the same things over and over. Components. And I don't need anything here for now. We do need an import array. Because this now needs router link. And then inside our nav component.html, we want to add a couple of links on the page. Router link. Link equals and this is the home route. And then the about route. Let's see if this works. Why'd you put it on the same line? I don't want two elements on the same line. That's really bizarre. Okay, well, I'll just leave it at that for now. Okay. This should be the minimal setup for nav, although I want to double check if this works. So let's put it on our app component. And I want to put it somewhere near the top of the page. App nav. And it's not going to know, right? So what do? We go and import it. Nav component. Okay. So add this to the top of the app component and add the import in your component TS. Okay. Nav component.ts is let me see if it's working actually. We have the home component and the about component. Yeah, it's working. So I'm able to navigate between the two routes. And that is routing. It's a little more complicated than Svelte because it is not folder-based routing. But yeah, that's just how Angular does it. Kelly, are you good? Is there any file you will need to review?
No. No.
Okay. Yeah, and you're able to navigate between the routes now?
No,
Yes.
I'm not able to.
Okay. Andy, what are you missing?
No, press about, it doesn't.
Let me look at yours. Oh, no. Slash. So the slash needs to be there. And for about, it needs to be lowercase. So usually, URL, stuff in the URL is lowercase, right? This is what I'm talking about when I'm saying what's in the URL. The HTTP stuff at the very top, you usually don't see capital letters in there. So that's why everything is lowercase, okay? All right, that ends our class. We will do more now that we have this basic stuff set up. All right, see you next week.